What's going on, YouTube? How's all the beautiful people? Well, there we go. Let's get this done. We got to pull this engine off. It's got a crack block and it's locked up. The guy that owned this previously, he went through the deck and all that stuff and got it all back together. Was mowing with it. I don't know if it was the crack in the block or what, but he run it out of oil and locked the engine up. The machine is in great shape. The seat's a little bit rough, but other than that, everything else is in good shape. So I've got another engine. It's also a Kohler Courage 20. It runs. It's sitting right here beside us. So first things first, we need to get this one off. And rather than to bore you with that, what we're going to do is we'll just do a time lapse. I'll get this thing pulled off, and then we'll do a little recap. Probably clean the frame up just a little bit. I know there's some repairs on the exhaust that need to be done. It's kind of cracked and busted. And we'll go from there. I think it's going to be a nice tractor when we get done. It'll make somebody a good mower. So let's get this underway. We'll go time lapse for a little bit and get this off. Okay, well, that was a pain simply because everything was covered in oily, nasty, I mean, just get it all over you. Oh, ugh. Anyways, that's enough ranting. Okay, so a few of the differences between these two engines. Get a little bit of light on the subject. This one here has the pressure switch over here. Fuel pump, because this is a rear engine tractor, so we will be using that. And that's it. Aside from the coil, the stator that's underneath that flywheel, which we will be pulling this one off and replacing this stator, because this is a manual actuated PTO, whereas that one over there is electric. So we'll put the higher output stator on. We will change out the throttle plate, because this one has a choke cable and a throttle cable. So we will remove this one, install the other one onto this engine. We will not mess with that oil pressure switch, and we will do the fuel pump. So easy. Once we get this flywheel off, we will go around and make sure all of these sump bolts are tight. Any that are loose, we will pull and lock tight. Other than that, I think this is going to be a fairly simple swap. After this transformation takes place, I will leave the cooling shroud off. That way I can get all this cleaned up. When I first got the machine this engine came from, it didn't run. I got it running, but they had allowed the valve cover to leak, and that's what you see here. That's why it's a mess. So I have fixed the leak, but we will go in and clean that up. The other thing, you see the exhaust there, it has broke out, so we will be welding that back in place. And I'm gonna let that soak for a bit longer, and then I'll wipe all that junk up. But this will get a much better bath. It has had one bath, but it will get another bath once we get it off the table. So, and of course, a battery. I will get a battery. I may have a good used one to put in it. So, but anyways, that's where we're at. When the time comes, I'll get you guys set back up, and we will set this in place, do a little time lapse, and get everything kind of buttoned back up, swapped over what needs to be swapped over, pull the flywheel so that we can change stators, and that'll be it. So I'll be turned. All right, I decided to go ahead and pull this flywheel and get this stator off. Thread that back in a bit. This will make the engine and stuff lighter whenever I get ready to move it over, so I can't complain about that. Hopefully this comes off without much struggle. I'm just going to put a little upward pressure on it. Uh-oh. Ow! There we go. I have bent these damn crank bolts before trying to hit them too hard, but this one doesn't appear to want to play nice. Now, lovely. Right back here a little bit. Did y'all hear that? Hopefully that was a good noise. Here's a hoping. So, well, maybe it wasn't a good noise. Oh yeah. What is going on? Am I crazy? Just being somewhat stubborn, huh? There we go. Well, there it is. There's the key. Set that aside. I am only assuming that this stator is different than what's on the tractor, but this to me looks like it very well could be a high output. But regardless, it ain't gonna while we're here, we can clean it up and do all that good crap. So, all right, let me get you guys back out of the way. We'll go back into time lapse. I'll get this. Well, hang on. While we're here, I kind of thought I would just pull that other one and make sure that I needed to change it, but let's just go ahead and finish pulling this one. Okay. Looks like where the hell does that go? Come on, man. Oh, okay. Goes directly to the voltage regulator, which does not look like it's going to be very convenient. And I'm going to have to take it off. Son of a diddly. See what we'll do. I'll just turn this thing. Like that. Y'all still see? Yes, no, maybe. Yeah. Okay. And that there is a sure enough aggravating part about this. You gotta unpin the connectors. Pry this up out of the way. I mean, I guess I wouldn't. I can always just take that harness off of that one, but I'll tell you what, let me get that one opened up and get the flywheel off and look and make sure that these are different, because this is I risk breaking these pins, breaking the wires and all that, and then this just costs money. So I'll bring you back with my findings. Okay, I got the other one off. I count 18. Okay, 18. Come over here. This one looks newer, looks better, but no telling. And there's 18 on this one as well. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this one. I think I will, I'm right here at it. So I'll clean up these rusty surfaces. But other than that, I'm fairly certain I'm gonna leave it alone. And we'll worry about that once I get it all back together and I'm able to do some testing, you know what I mean? As far as the blades being engaged, running the clutch, and what the battery's getting, as long as it's charging enough for the battery to stay charged while the PTO's engaged. That's all we're after. Okay, so problem solved there. Let's just go ahead and get this thing mounted up, and once it's mounted up, then I may do it off camera, I don't know. You don't need to see me clean the rust off this crap, so that's where we're at. But when I get ready to set this on, get her bolted down, we'll go time lapse and hopefully get this thing wrapped up for too long. Okay, a little update. We talk about a pain in the royal ass. Pardon my French. Yeah, I mean, just look under here. Look at this slimy, greasy bullshit. Sorry, but anywho, it is on, mounted. Clutch is on. All that's left to do now, I have to change this throttle assembly, this throttle plate over. Flywheel, coil, cooling fan, yada, yada, yada. But first I'm gonna check these right here, make sure they are still tight. I probably already did this once because I did get this thing running when I first got it. So there's a good chance that I've already put some ugga-duggas on that. Generally, I would just use a socket, but it's just a lot easier one-handed. Let's see if we get any turns. Oh, that's one. Ooh, that ain't right. What? Yeah, it's supposed to be a 10. Those, however, are damaged slightly, maybe from me. Trying to get the flywheel off. Looking for the 10. You see it, holler. There it is. I just want to see what I get on there. If anything. Well, shit, fire. That ain't even gonna go on. What about this one? Yeah, it goes on that one. Yeah, I've already tightened these up. Okay. I just got that one a little bit mushroomed whenever I was removing the flywheel, but okay, good enough. Son of a gun. We'll go back into time lapse. I'll get the flywheel on, the cooling fan on, set the gap on the coil. Have to move the fuel pump over, throttle plate, hook up the choke and throttle wires, and then we'll be ready for a test run or test fire. I have already hooked up the wiring harness. I've already hooked up the starter wire. So, yeah. All right. All right. Welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, fellas and fillettes. Okay. I've got it on. Air gap set on the coil. Flywheel's torqued. Fuel pump is installed. Fuel pump is hooked up. Wiring installed. Throttle, choke cable hooked up. I have a jump pack in for a makeshift battery. The fuel in the tank doesn't smell bad, so that's a plus. And the exhaust is uninstalled. Who doesn't want to hear and possibly see the fireballs? Sorry, I know that's probably not real neat. There we go. Okay, right here. Be looking right here. There's the exhaust. Let's see if this thing will fire up, shall we? Right. I'm not going to run it very long because it's going to be extremely loud. So, here we go. There's no fuel valve or anything. Let me turn this on. Of course, Hopefully it doesn't just run wide ass open. So here we go. Choke set, throttle at idle. Man, I don't know what you guys saw, but that is loud. I'll have to play that back and see. Well, she runs. We went from locked up to it runs, so that's a bonus. Okay, let me get you guys set back up, and then I will install the shroud. And when I bring you back, I'll have you set up, and we will get that exhaust back together. Okay, I got her set up here. That's just sitting there, so it's a pretty good fit. You can see somebody's tried to weld this in the past, but I believe they welded it up. This was still mounted to the engine, and they didn't have the exhaust mounted, so it just shook itself back apart. That is my guess. So let me get you guys set up. I probably won't record the whole thing, but you know what? I just don't want to tear my camera up, aka my cell phone. So this is it. Now let me get it welded up, and then I'll bring you back. All right. Well, I got her welded up. There was some commotion going on across the street, so I didn't film it, but there she is. It ain't the prettiest. I made a living welding for many years. This stuff is thin, but it's on. Everything is as it was when I left you last. So I'll tell you what, let's start it up and see how quiet it is. That bumper don't belong, but nevertheless, it's on there, and it might help itself. I don't know. So let's do the jump pack. Force it. There we go. We got the choke. Let's just see what happens. We got light. Uh-oh. Burning off that paint. Yeah, buddy. Oofta. Okay, I'm gonna let this clear out a little bit, and I'll bring you guys back when I get this in a position where we can see if that clutch is gonna work. Right? All right. looky there. It lives again. I replaced the old headlight, the old light bulbs with the LEDs. All I've left to do is give it a final bath, sharpen the blades, and this thing's ready for sale. That seat is not terrible. It still serves a purpose. I do have a John Deere seat cover. The yellow won't match, but you know, we'll see. You know, it's yeah, it's gonna make somebody a good one. I do still want to clean that out when I give it a last bath. That engine's got fresh oil in it. Other than that, I appreciate you people joining in. Please like and sub, and we will catch you on the next one.